things actually happened, and the mainstream media is giving it virtually zero airplay at all, but would rather talk about coming and doing what? Using what? The synagogue murders, domestic terror attack, and give voice to people coming after your guns, rather than covering these two stories. Both of these things happened. Let's talk about him briefly. He's my hero. Masked gunman blazes into McDonald's, but had to face a protective dad. This is from the Ledger-Enquirer. I believe this is from Birmingham. An ordinary night at a Birmingham, Alabama McDonald's erupted in chaos and tragedy after a masked gunman stormed the restaurant and began shooting Saturday. But a father who was in the restaurant with his two sons, waiting to be let outside, pulled out his own gun and returned fire. Wrapping my head around it all, I was just wishing someone would come wake me up from this nightmare. That was from Marcus Washington, an employee who barricaded himself in the restaurant's freezer, told WBRC TV. Quoting, I was making 2 quarter-pounders and heard 3 shots ring and then exchange of gunfire, 2 more. 10:45 that night, an employee was doing what employees do, unlocking the door to let the man and his sons out of the restaurant, because the restaurant was getting ready to close. That's when a scumbag in a mask busted into the restaurant and started shooting. The father, who was getting let out by the employee, had his 2 sons, pulled out his own weapon, and a hail of gunfire, quote-unquote, washed over the restaurant. Don't you love this? A hail of gunfire washed all over the restaurant. When it was over, the dad and the gunman and one of the 2 sons had been shot. The gunman